Hey guys, this is our defensive scouting report for Kelvin. Um, Kelvin's offense is not too dissimilar to what we saw with Murdoch McKay, but there's one or two little differences that we want to prep you for. I'm going to talk about a couple of personnel on the Kelvin team. Please don't misunderstand this. This isn't an attempt to disrespect anyone, but rather it's an attempt to help you be able to identify when they're going to run certain plays. So this is a good look at what Kelvin likes to run. To the left-hand side, although they can flop at either side, right? I'm just drawing it up this way. A wide out in the slot, and to the right-hand side, a wide out and a tight end. They don't always run with a tight end, but I'd say about 70% of the stuff that they ran in their last game against Crocus had a tight end. In the backfield, the quarterback is in a shotgun. There's a tailback behind him, probably closer than I have drawn up here, and a fullback who's even with him, just like Murdoch did. Okay, so let's talk about how we want to line up with this. No rule breaking. This follows all of our defensive rules. Start to this side. If we're in man coverage, corner takes number one, half takes number two. No big shakes. To the other side, this wide out, corner takes him. Now, the tight end. The tight end needs to be played with two different players, our half and our defensive end of that side. Let's start with the defensive end. So this would be Tom. This would be Liam. This could be Ethan Bazinet. We want you to line up, head up on that end. And on the snap of the ball, you've got the C-gap responsibility. Now, let me show you where the half lines up, and then I'll explain why we want you doing this. The half should line up 2 yards outside, 3 yards back. So that should put you right about here. The half is going to key this end. We put our defensive end head up so that this defensive end cannot release straight up field or release inside. So although the half treats him like a receiver, because he's the number 2 receiver, you only have to worry about coverage to this side where you're already lined up and you have leverage. So that's win number 1. The second win is that if you see him engage in a block, you've got to know that you've got to come up, because the end can't contain anymore. Just like when the end gets cracked by the slot and the half has to come up. So half, if there's a tight end, 2 yards over, 3 yards back, and you're keying that tight end. Everybody else, pistol, you will end up here after you blitz. Nose, and Will, Mike, Sam. And of course, free is deep. Okay, so that's how we line up. Let's talk about the plays they like to run. The first play they like to run is a simple power to the tight end side, where the fullback is going to come up to block. He's probably going to be trying to block the half. They're going to go to a deep handoff, and the tailback is going to look to run here or cut back. Okay, so 2 things I want you to hear. First, their regular tailback is number 20, shorter, scat back type. He's going to want to bounce around. But when they get in the red zone, they take him out and they put in number 4, much bigger kid. Number 4 runs straight ahead. And by straight ahead, I don't mean here. I mean he's going to run here or he's going to run here. So here's how we want to deal with this. Oh, just as a side note, I saw no plays where he got the ball, and I didn't see any plays where they threw passes to these running backs out of the backfield. Doesn't mean he won't get the ball. Doesn't mean they won't throw the passes. But it's not something in their regular schedule. So here's how we want to play this. We've talked about the ends, right? The ends are going to take the C gap if there's a tight end. Sam will play the back that's to your side. So that means Sam, you would be playing him. Will, you would be playing him. Little bit different this week. Damon, Hunter, As Mike, we want you on this guy all the time. So one more time. Damon and Hunter, you're king this guy all the time. If he goes to the right, you go to the right. If he goes to the left, you go to the left. Up front, their linemen do not get into three-point stances. They stay in a two-point stance, and they stand straight up to do kind of zombie hand blocking. We should be able to reestablish that line of scrimmage. So that's their basic run play. They do run a counter when this player comes across the field like this, instead of going there, and that tail is going to take one step here and go back. But they don't pull anybody. They just block straight ahead. So I'm confident we should be able to handle that. Now, two more things I want to show you. One of them's a pass play. When they pass, or at least last week, right? No guarantee that's going to happen this week. When they pass, this back comes up in pass blocks. This back comes up in pass blocks. And their favorite thing to do is get into, watch this now, guys. Get into trips. Okay, and our half would have to come over, right? And then throw a post to him. Now, they rotate different kids through this spot, but the one they like to throw to is this kid, number 11. I'm going to show you a clip in a minute that will have show this play. He's easy to pick out because he wears lots of stuff. He's got an arm sleeve. He's got a towel out of his back, and he hangs a white shirt tail long outside of his uniform. If you're the cornerback, and that refers to all of our cornerbacks, and you've got number 11 by yourself, you should probably expect a deep pass. A post route is what he likes to run. The other thing I saw them do is they will bring the tight end in. And they will run something like this, and the tight end will try to run a little out pattern. We should be able to cover that no problem. Again, halves, remember, if you get the tight end to your side, he's yours. Especially, look at this formation. Corners man, halves man, tight end's a receiver. The other half has to come over. And you don't have to worry about him escaping to the inside because you've got the end head up, and the end is going to slam into that gap. He won't be able to get there. Also, side notes, Tom and Liam, this tight end, it looks like a young kid. It really does. And he's not an aggressive blocker. I think there will be some mismatches with both of you if he ends up blocking you. Okay, so Kelvin, what do we need to know? We need to know that they do run with a tight end. We need to know how to line up with the tight end for our defensive ends and our halves. We need to know that if they get number 11 all by themselves, they like to run a post to him. And you also need to know that this offensive line doesn't get into a stance. And they do stand up when they block. So I think we should be able to win that line of scrimmage. Oh, one more thing. My Mike linebackers, you need to know that you have that tail. Wherever he goes, he's yours. Okay, guys, we'll install this on Monday. Oh, take a look at the clips of each of these plays. From Kelvin, disregard the noises in the background. Show you the plays we just talked about. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. First one is just going to be Kelvin running a tight end is left, and they're going to run lead right. Here is their regular tailback, number 20, shorter, faster kid. We'll just let this play through so you can see it. Just a simple lead play, and he manages to get to the corner and pops up a 20-yard run. Okay, now, the other thing that they'd like to run out of this same formation, here's a better example, is a little bit of a counter play. They've got the tight end to the right-hand side now. They're still in that loaded formation. Notice that the running back who's come in now is a bigger kid. He's going to run pretty much straight ahead. 2 steps. There's a counter. There's no pulling lineman. And then he's going to come back to the right. Okay, those are their 2 basic running plays. Let's look at their passing plays. They've run more passes than this, but these are 2 good ones for us to work with. Okay, first, please notice that we've got trips right. 1, 2, and then 3. So on the other side of the field is the receiver they like to throw deep to, number 11. And you can see he's run a pass. Or excuse me, he's run a post. It's a pretty good pattern and not a bad football, but he's easy to be able to identify because he wears lots of stuff. Now you'll be able to see him in this next video a little clearer. Okay, he's at the bottom of the screen. There's tight end left, and there he is right there. You can see he's pretty tall, but there's a arm sleeve on him, the shirt tail is out, and there's also a towel behind him. But what they're running on this play is that tight end is released, and he's going to run what's called a whip route, where he just runs straight. He won't be able to run straight against us because we'll have the tight end over top, or a defensive end over top of him, and then he just wheels out to the left. But he has to get picked up by whoever is bumped over on that. All right. That's enough for us to look at.